Squeak. Squeak. Squeak, squeak. Squeak, squeak, squeaking. Hello. Moda. Hi. Good evening. Beat up Red? Why would I beat up Red? What did he do now? Is he misbehaving? He called you a slut! You know what really makes him upset? Go back in his chat and tell him he's stinky. Tell him he's stinky. He knows. He knows he's stinky. Get him! Are you guys ready for some soda can opening ASMR? I spilled a little. Raise you like a phoenix. Hi, everybody. We're going to play some more Town to City today. Because it's fun, and I like it, and I want to play more. So, I think I want to play some music during stream today, though. And we'll turn off the in-game music this time. Because I want some jams. I want some jams. Some jammin' jams. He got upset! Oh, no. Did you tell him he was stinky? He's such a stinky boy. Let me out. Excuse me. People on the streets. I said he was the stingiest person in the world, including dung beetles. Okay, that was a bit much, Muda. That was a little too far. You're just supposed to say you're stinky. The end. Muda has to be extra. Copy back. That's facts. I can spell. Okay. Oh, poor Stinky Red. Poor Stinky Red. Poor Stinky Boy. Poor Stinky Fox Girl. She know not she stinky. She know not the stinky that she SB. Shout out Les for not eeping. I mean, Les is a grown-up. She can do as she pleases. It'll be okay. Don't tell me I'm gonna have to come into Red's chat and like get everybody under control over there. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. is the sound under pressure. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Let me turn the game sound down a little bit more. Audio. Ambiance. We can turn that down a little more. There, that's better. Right. Where was we? We was building farms. We was farming. We were like a regular, comfortable house. I don't think I have any house. I don't think I have house. Should we upgrade? We could upgrade some house. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, there you go. You go that house. I don't want to talk about it. We should probably do some decorating. Like this poor house. Has nothing around it. Poor house. Trauma. There's some trees between it and the greenery here. I don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna put a little pump back here. You know better. Got my laptop so I can have both your streams up. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Appreciate that. So make this last forever. Let's see. Let's give you a little bench. Give you a little bench and some flowers. There you go. And maybe I need a monster since I don't think I'm sleeping anytime soon. Uh-oh. Oh no, maybe you should be the one going to bed. My brain's too distracted. I feel that. That's valid. That's a little better for them. First things first. Alright, you guys need some help too. Okay, you want some barrels? Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I sneezed. I sneezed. I don't want to talk about it. Thank you. I don't want to talk about it. Let's see. We'll give you guys a bench. Looking out over the water. And this nice lake right here. It's pretty nice. Need some trees, some flowers. Leslie's going to bed. Oh, that's good. Which means I'm more adult than Les since I sit up longer. Okay. Sure. Yeah, that's cute. Need a little light. Oh! Hi. Hi, Red. Hi, Les. Oh, hi. Thank you so much for that raid. Everyone go follow Red, because I said so. You bitches. Oh, thank you for the blankies. It's cold. Hold on, I'm gonna take a sip. Oh, okay. Now I have pigtails. I will don't unfollow Red. What's wrong with you? Don't be stinky. Cute and cozy tea. Aw, thank you. I'm cute and cozy. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Cute and cozy. All at the same time. I like doing adults. I do the opposite. You would. Yeah, would. I gotta change this light post for this one. I learned how to move things. Look at that. I say I gotta go eat. Oh no! Good night. You want me to sing you a lullaby? Lullaby and good night. I'm also eat me. Work beat me up. Oh no. Oh no, but it's Friday. Everyone's going to EP? But I just got here. I just got here. Everybody's going to bed and abandoning me. Damn it. Oh, no, Les, you're okay. I'm just giving Red shit. On Friday? Everyone's yeeping? Yep. No, you I totally understand. You get a pass, Les. Yippee, I'm more adult! No. Technically, isn't Les an adult? She's going to bed being responsible because she has to work in the morning. I think that makes Les more grown up. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Drink something? Okay, I got some Diet Pepsi. I'm unemployed. I think that makes me more grown up. I have no responsibilities to attend to. No, it doesn't. We call our animals freeloaders because they're unemployed. What? There should be a head pat. There's no head pat redeem? There should be a head pat redeem. Oh yeah, there's head pats. There's a head pat. There it is. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for head pats. Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh. Hello, lazy trash panda. I'm blind. It's okay. It's late. Ow. 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 That was loud. Finger slipped. Whoops. I hate it when my finger slips. It's the worst. And I'm so sorry. Let's put in some hedges. Put in some hedges. And some flowers. Just saying I'm staying up to keep you company. I think that shows emotional maturity, which clearly makes me more dull. Okay. Now I'm gone. Night-night. Besitos for all. Fucking 7. 7 stream shake. Let's go! Means I'm better. Night-night, Liz. Besitos for all. I don't know what that means. Oh, I accidentally placed a flower. I don't want that there. I don't want that there. I kind of want... Let's give you guys some chairs and stuff, shall we? Hi, mommy, you're all ready. There you go. Excuse me. Know what would really make you better, though? Gifting 10 subs and becoming #1 gifted. Let me do that. Well, stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that, you silly goose. I feel like I need more trees right here in this naked spot. This naked spot's too naked. Or maybe some flowers? I could put some flowers. I put some flowers right here on this hill. Maybe next time. Okay, well. Not everybody just has money to throw at me. It's alright. Let's put some small trees here, too. Thank you. All the flowers are in the way, though. What is this? Is this a fruit stall? I think it is. I can't remember what all I put up here. Alright, I'm gonna continue decorating, because this town needs lots of decorating going on. Psycho! You guys can have a shed. You want a shed? Actually, whatever helps you sleep at night, joke's on you, I ain't sleeping. I also lie to myself to help me sleep, like, people do love you, and I won't be alone forever. Red, come on. It's okay. Surely it'll be alright. Oh, what fence should I use? Probably this wooden one. But I got this cat, and that cat will give you unconditional love forever. Psycho, psycho. Psycho, psycho. Rotate. Oh, it's too big. like that. When I lie to myself, it's stuff like, Muda, you are not the best. Stop. And then I realize I am, and I sleep sound. You're supposed to lie, Muda, not tell truth. The truth would be telling myself I'm the most handsome, amazing guy alive, but I don't, since I already know so. Dang. I wish I had a dose of that confidence. I could never. Sponsored by Monster Energy. Damn. Apparently I gotta drink more Monster if I want to be confident. I had no idea. Leave my skin. Excuse me. I wish I could put stuff closer to the building, but I can't. But I can't. So I won't. You want a bench? You want a bench? Yeah, you do. There you go. Have a bench. That's cute. Beneath my skin. I don't know what to do there. I'll put something there eventually. I want to move this. Move it back here. Oh, that's way too big. And then right here, I guess I'll just put some trees. I gotta rethink this a little. You don't need both of these. Took me into the city. Let's delete one. Remove this one. Because they're actually supposed to be like this, like up against the building, or up against the shed. One or the other. But it's kind of been bugging out lately. I guess I should have checked if there was an update. Oh well. We got our little farm stand area over here. Right. You guys want some flowers too, don't ya? Flowers for everybody! Oh, that's like cut into the hillside there. Oh, interesting. I was wondering how it handled some of the terrain stuff. Alright, so somewhere... Where do we look at that? Is it here? Economy breakdown. Farms. They're unhappy? Where's this at? Over by the bakery? Farmer residence by the bakery. Oh, this one. Why are you sad? No textiles nearby. We can upgrade? Nice. Let's see. Is this the bees? This is the bees one. Okay. We could put, can I move this rock? Oh, I wish I could move that rock. That would have been cool. I can't, though, so. Move boulder. Alright, let me get my road. Barely keep your eyes open. Go to sleep, you goofy. It's okay. Weak. Yeah, I'm just gonna fill all this in. Babe's calling. One sec, chat. Alright, chat, I'm back. Boyfriend is gone hunting all weekend. So he is calling me. Alright. Well, they're fine now. Because they're connected to the shoemaker. Wait, was the road not big enough? Wait, that's weird. Why is it all of a sudden working now? I'm confused. Alright, what happens if I erase this now? Now that I don't need it anymore. We're gonna celebrate. Seems okay now. Alright. Decoration. Maybe some bushes. Alright, we have a ton of farm points. We can unlock the next tier. Let's do it. I'm gonna go lie in bed till I fall asleep now, as my head is slowly falling as I type this. I know. Night night. Has a good eats. New researchable items available. Farm points cap increase to 1,200. Let's go. We can grow hops. We can make beer. That's cool. Doghouse. Farmer's market decorations. Farm surface increase. Oh my gosh, guys. We can make our farms bigger. Okay, that's pretty exciting. AFK. I really need to... I just put up all these... Oh! Hi! Serena Magic, thank you so much for that raid. So kind of you. So kind of you. Hello, everybody. My name is Chi. I play cozy city builder games. We love a good city simulation over here. Thank you so much for that raid. Thank you for trusting me with your community. How was your stream? I hope it was amazing. Mumbo. Alright, I need to decorate these houses. They're looking pretty sad. I just kind of willy-nilly built them because it was getting a lot of demand, and I didn't take the time to decorate them, so you want to do that, and then we can upgrade too, so I think I'll do that next. Today's your birthday! Happy birthday! You're playing Town to City the whole time. Isn't it so good? It's so addicting. I have so much fun playing this game right now. We started a city in City Skylines like a week ago, and I haven't touched it since because I've been playing this. But I'm having so much fun playing this. I don't want to stop. It's so cute. Actually, let's put our bench on this side. I really can't be like 4 times now. Dang. I have the one on stream, and then I started another one that I'm playing off stream too. So right now I have it twice. And I'm having the bestest of times. Oh, my mayor house is also sad looking. Maybe some flowers. I love this concept of putting things on the buildings and it changes them into building decorations. Such a cute idea. It kind of reminds me of like the building mechanics in Tiny Glade. Definitely gotten my money's worth at 60 hours. Dang, that's awesome. Have you ever played the other game that this developer has? Station to Station? I highly recommend that game too. It's so good. It's so good. I love that game. I'm actually in the middle of working my way through that game too. It's taking me a while though. Territory. Can I put some flowers? I have some flowers out front. No? Dang, they should fix that so you can put flowers closer to the house model. So now I can't. Take control. Oh, I forgot to turn on my integration. I forget you have to turn it on every time. There we go. But yeah, I highly recommend playing their other game too, Station to Station. It's very good. Very cute game. It has the same really adorable voxel graphics. Some stuff on this house. You know what? You need... I think you need a tree. There you go. Apparently that's where Maggie lives. We'll give her some... Yeah, they need some light. They need some light shined on the situation. Alright, that house has some stuff. That house has some stuff. So I decorated some of them. There's a big empty spot here. We could put a park there. Let's put a park there. Plaza. Actually, let's start by putting a fence. Alright. Let's do a slide. And a hopscotch. Yeah, that's cute. Money, I'm a star. Put some trees here. Can I put some trees here? Oh, heck yeah. Hell yeah! There we go. Alright. What about over here? You guys decorated? You're not. That's right. I'm gonna build a road because I really need to... I have people waiting for somewhere to live. So I kind of want to put some people back here. And apparently you can put the... At some point, these houses are available in the other city, too. Which is cool. I kind of want to build a road right in between there. Baby, no money, you always selling something. Medium tree. A house surrounded by a lot of farm decorations. Actually, maybe I'll just upgrade one of these ones over here that already has farm decorations. Because I don't have a room right now. Okay. And I have a lot of money. So, you know, we'll just upgrade it. +0? There's a shed there! They're lying. Why are they lying like that? What about this one? -4. There's a pump and a shed thing. It should be +4. Is it broken? What if it's broken? Lots of trees. +20. +19. Maybe we'll go there. Farm decorations, huh? Oh, some barrels over here. And a pumpkin or two. And I don't know if this will fit here. Oh, it will. Little totes fit here. Alright, now is it suitable? Alright. There you go. 2, 4, 6, 8. Alright. Let's decorate over here real quick. Real quick, like. Need some lights. Gonna cost a lot. There it is. Is it suitable? That's up to you, Mayor. Wait, is what suitable? Oh, the house? Can't believe it. Can't believe it. I thought it was, but the people didn't think so. Train. Dropping people off. I think I just built some more houses. Let's give you guys some lights. Some lights. And some flowers. Everyone likes flowers. You get some flowers, and you get some flowers. Okay. And then maybe some people get a tree. Everyone likes a tree on their porch. How are you tonight, Shy Circus? Are you doing well? Are you having a good Friday? Alright, and then we'll do like a chair. This one will get a chair. You can have a bench. You can have a bench. a table. And a couple chairs. Inside out, yeah. There you go. Don't stop me now. Doing good. I took a nap earlier to catch up on sleep. I only slept an hour and a half before work. Oh gosh. You poor thing. I've been sleeping like complete shit for a couple weeks now. I'm not sure why. I have had some health stuff going on, so that could be why. Tree! Supersonic man out of you! Don't stop me now, having such a good time, having a ball, don't stop me now. Severe insomnia, so I'm pretty used to it. I wouldn't say that mine is severe, but it's pretty bad most nights. It's like it's like I can't win. Either I can't fall asleep, or I fall asleep and then I'm just constantly waking up all night. So I never get like a solid night of sleep, you know? It's the worst. Whoa, 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 explode. Feel the sun, yeah. 100 degrees, so they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. My dad, though, he had really bad insomnia a lot. Good time. Okay, I think that's pretty good. You guys are all decorated up for the most part. What's going on over here at these houses? This one, you need more stuff. You need more stuff! You look like you could use some sunflowers. Maybe over here too. Good time. We're having a ball. 3 hours a day? Yeah, I average around, I want to say like 5-ish. Let's put a water pump out here. Wasn't there like a ladder? Where's that at? Building decorations. I forget about this category. I forgot about the cute little bell! Let's give this farm a bell. There you go, you can have a bell. And this ladder for some reason. Just for funsies. And a cellar door. You wouldn't have a cellar this close to water, though. That doesn't make sense. That don't make no sense! Well, I'm sorry that you struggle with sleep, because that's actually the worst. Sleeping is so good. When it happens. Hey, Miss Motherfucker. Alright. We're getting pretty decorated up in here. good. Yes. House. House. I think we've, before I forget, your boyfriend like horror movies and pizza, right? He does. How did you know that? Did I talk about that? I don't remember. Oh, I think I did talk about horror movies. How I never want to watch them with him. You do have a good memory. That's impressive. There's an ad starting in 3 minutes for anyone that will be stuck watching them. All right. I'm going to... All right, they're sad again. It says it's reaching. It's like glitching. Famous Monster Pizza? Where's that at? Change my life. Whoa. I love pizza too. I actually ate pizza 3 times this week. I know, it sounds crazy. Is there a small? There isn't really anything small I can do. We have one way over here. Let's put an optician office over here. I'm actually gonna put it here, I think. Is that where I want to put it? Not really. This seems like a better spot. Oh no, we're gonna need another warehouse. The warehouse be maxed out. Alright. We'll do a... Is this a big one? Yeah, it is. Alright, let's do a small one. I guess right here. Let's put it here in this corner. Decatur, Indiana? Holy cow. Does he ever go there when he travels for work? He might. Hi, Wambat. They have a ton of horror movie merchandise and play old black and white horror movies on the wall. Oh, that's cool. All right. Now we can get rid of some of these employees. Ads are playing. This house is still unhappy. I don't understand why this house is so unhappy. It's not that far away from stuff. It's actually very confusing. Yeah, see, it affects that. I wonder if I need to just... Actually, maybe I can just move it. Let's try just moving it. Because it's already acting kind of weird. Let's try... I'm gonna try flipping it around this way. No? Still unhappy? I don't understand. It's broken. Alright, I'm just gonna delete it. I'm just gonna delete it and we're gonna start over with this. And we'll just put it over here by the water instead. Because it's just so angry for no reason. See, now it's connected to everything. That's crazy. Ads are over! Alright, I think this was the beeswax. Yeah. Alright. I like that, because it seems like they had to plan around the trees or something. Alright, we need a fence. Welcome back from ads. Oh, we maxed out our farm points again. Let's see. We can get a dog! Okay. And let's do this and this. And then we'll unlock all the crops in a minute. Oh, who should we give the doghouse? Right here. Where is it? Ooh, doggy! Look at him! What's up, little bro? You're so cute. Look at how cute he is. He's a wolf. He barks. Bork. Bork, bork. Bork, 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 bork. Bork. Oh, he's so adorable. I love him. What do we got now? Harvest crate. We got some wheelbarrows. You guys want some wheelbarrows, don't you? Yeah, you do. Cute. Love that. I just can't look, it's killing me. Yeah, I don't know why this up here didn't work for some reason, but it didn't. Not sure what I did that broke it, but it broke. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade. We're gonna level up our town. Cute! Alright, I think I'm gonna continue around this way. Although I did just add that warehouse over here, so maybe I should continue on this way. Because we're now gonna have 4 more farms we can have. Which is exciting. Yeah, I really want to go up this hillside. Maybe I just need to draw new roads and it'll be not broken. Let's see. That was near the edge of the map. Alright. Let's try this again. We're gonna do a farmhouse. Alright, and this is gonna be... Ooh, should we do hops or potatoes or tomatoes? I'm gonna do hops. Ooh. So cool. Wow, and I can make it pretty big too. That's cool. We making alcohol? We making booze. Let's see. Yep, we unlocked a pub. So once we get all these farms up and running, we can place a pub down. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Alright, what is your problem? Granary can't transport to this building. Needs people. I wonder if it'll still not reach, though. Yeah, that's right. We'll just put another one. Right across the street. I'll make this a little smaller. Black tuck, big t-shirt, Billie Eilish. Black tuck, big t-shirt, Billie Eilish. Good? Everybody's all good? We got extra people here now. Excellent. Alright. Now I did that so that I could... I want to paint more. More! Because why not? Oh, that's all the more room we had. Alright, what if we do... just over here? Close enough. Black tug, big t-shirt, Billie Eilish. In perspective. Cute. Then we have to add more. Hi, Giga! Can never have too much, that's right. How goes the chill plate? Very good. We're building farms. We're building a hops farm so we can make beer. Or in this case, it's probably ale. This feels more like an ale type of game. Hops. Yes, hops. Bunnies? No, now bunny hops. Bunny, no, not bunny farm. No, no. That would be so... Although we do have a cotton farm. Cottontail? Cottontail? Get it? Get it? Cottontail farm? Buffwalk approves. Let's go. To break, but I got now. Does it feel so good? And it's gonna be it just feels so good. Fence. get to you. Yeah, and then we'll get some trees. How was your stream, Giga? I know you were streaming earlier. Did you play some repo? Did you repo it up? It was very crazy. Did you have fun though? I don't doubt that it was crazy. I normally don't play Friday streams, but with groups it's always fun. It is, yeah. Nice. I'm glad you had fun. Repo is a really fun game. It's like one of the few scary games that I will play. And it is a scary game. I don't care what anyone says. That game's fucking terrifying. It's scary, okay? Yes, it's scary. It scares the shit out of me. I'm a big scaredy cat. That's kind of like not a secret at this point. I'm just afraid of everything. Cute, and I got a hops farm. I feel like I should decorate some of these other farms too. They at least need fences. It's a chill, relaxing game. What are you talking about? I don't think we're talking about the same game. We're talking about Repo, right? Where you're the cute little robot going around collecting stuff and running away from the big scary head guy. Right? That game? Yep, those. Yeah, okay. That game's scary. Who are you kidding? Scares the poop out of me. That's cute. It's a funny game. It is funny, but also it's scary. It's scary. That big scary head guy that floats around and he chases you and he like spits that shit out of his mouth to kill you. He's scary. Fuck that guy. And then there's that creepy nun looking thing. Fuck that thing. That thing's scary. It's scary. It's scary, y'all. Nah, I don't see it. You're crazy. That's crazy, yo. Dig a hole. What should we put in this spot right here? Let me put something there. I'm probably gonna put some houses going up the hill here. Yeah, let's do that. Maybe I should just put another house there. Yeah. Let's do that. I am a hunt, I'm digging a hole. They want flowers. Alright, let's do decorations. We need a fence. For the granary, I'm gonna put like a wall here. It kind of already has one around it, but you know, we want to separate it from the private property homes. Like that. And then we really need some lights because it's super dark over here. I mean, you guys see the kind of games I play, right? I'm not a spooky game player. The silliest of things scare me. I think that's actually why I can stomach playing Repo, is because it is kind of goofy. So it kind of takes away from some of the scariness for me. so that I can stand it a little. This house wants lots of flowers. Not too close, though, apparently. City management. Horrifying! No way! That's crazy! You're probably the silliest of the gooses right now. Oh no, taxes! Oh, it's not that bad, you guys. Come on. Come on. I mean, look at how cute it is. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with the cuteness. Cuteness overload. Why are they sad? What? Says the mayor. It's adorable. Look at it. Okay, but why are you guys unhappy? All of a sudden you're not connected anymore? This keeps happening on this hillside. They're sad because they live in a society. They live in a farmland. No, they're sad actually because they don't have access to society. Alright, well. No available houses. Well, I'll fix that. Alright, I'm gonna move you to this house. And I'm gonna move you to this house. And I guess I'm just gonna tear these down. Real close to home, right? I don't know why, for some reason, going up this hill makes the game sad. I don't know what's going on there. Because all the stuff can definitely reach up there. What's going on here? Oh, it's a random hops. On the wrong side of the road. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. It's true. No, it's true. I wonder if that was in the way. No, I wasn't in the way. No. Alright. Well, since we can't go that way, we're gonna go this way. Because we need to build 3 more farms. There, we unlock the pub. There's even more down here! Oh! Tink! Oh! Hi, Tink! Thank you so much for the raid! Dang, I'm getting a lot of raids today. This is crazy. You're like the 3rd one. Thank you so much for that follow. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in, raiders. My name's Chi. I'm your friendly neighborhood bunny girl senpai, and I like to play cozy city building games. And today we're playing some Town to City. Let's go! Let's go! Woo! Woo woo! That's awesome. It is awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. How are you? What were you doing? What were you playing? Wait, Ting, I'm not following you. I'll follow you now. Click. You're playing some Borderlands? Awesome. Love to hear it. Hello, person who I will not attempt to pronounce your name because I can't read it. My sincerest apologies. Of course, my dear. Of course. I thought I was already following you. It's Z. Okay. Sure. I'll take your word for it. Everyone does that. Yeah, because... Let's see. It kind of looks like literally only want to play whatever Zmug is. That's kind of what it looks like. My ADHD brain just worked overdrive on that, by the way. Zmog. Ziomaga. Zomaga. Oh my god. We also hit 500 subscribers on YouTube today, which is crazy. Hyper, you're pretty and I like ya. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. It's crazy. Like 2 months ago, I only had like maybe 300 some followers on YouTube, and I started like posting a little more consistently, some shorts, and I post all my VODs over there too, unedited, because I don't have time to edit them and I can't afford an editor. And so I gained some pretty good traction the last couple months. TikTok too. I have 1,200 on TikTok now, which is crazy. So it's just proof that consistency really does work. Consistency really does work. Yes, it does. Imagine being consistent in anything pays off. What an idea. Your eyes are very heavy. Okay, go get some rest. Go get some rest. Thank you so much. I appreciate it again, the raid. So friendly. Thank you. We're just gonna do some deforestation, because I got farms to build, y'all. And I need to get a road back here. Drink something, you got it. I have some Diet Pepsi right here that I will drink. Mmm, fizzy. Mmm, fizzy. I'm a cold. Alright, I'm gonna come through here. Gotta hydrate, yeah. My blood's made of Diet Pepsi. Alright, I'm gonna follow right along this way. Nice organic road. And I'm gonna put the farm right in here. Anyway, you can really... Huh? Say what? Oh, hydration. I got you. Sorry. That was totally lost on me. My bad. Alright, we got our cute farmhouse. And we'll move a family in. And yeah, I know you need things. Paradise. It's really weird, like, I have a ton of workers. I guess everything is full. Alright. Alright, well, I'll fix that in a second. Let's build our farm. So we can do tomatoes, lettuce, or potatoes. What should we do? We've done all the other ones already. Dancer. No dancer. Should we do a poll? Let's do a poll. Poll! Which farm next? Question mark. We got tomatoes. We got potatoes. And we got, excuse me, lettuce. Start poll. Alright, you guys, you go in there and you vote in the poll. Vote! Vote in the poll! My lurky peoples, I need you to vote in the poll. While you do that, I'm gonna turn this little block into a little lot. No dancing, dancing. No dancing. Vote in the poll, you guys! Do it. Do it. Hypno dancing. Hypno dancing. Vote, vote, vote. Voting's important. Don't forget it. Alright. That looks like a weird spot. Did I just like miss a spot maybe? Nope, it just looks like that. Well, looks like it's gonna be potatoes! Alright, let's do... Oh, that's too big. Let's do a cheese stall. We'll do a fruit stall, because fruit and cheese go really good together. Let's do a fish stall. Why not? Potatoes it is! Actually, maybe I'll turn it this way. All good? We got our bakery and our hatter. Am I still waiting? Alright. We're doing good! Jedi's here! Now we have these farm stall decorations. Or farmer's market decorations, I mean. I'm gonna put it in the hole. Some boxes, and we got the wheelbarrow. That's so cute. Alright, then we need to set up some tables. I'll probably just use some picnic tables. Like that. And then get a flower. Oh, is that the wrong flower? Oh, I can only put this one on there? Stinky. That'd be cool if I could have put the sunflower. That'd have been cute. I probably need some lighting back here too, actually. Maybe. The stalls are in the way! Come on, let me squeeze in there. It was gonna let me and then it changed its mind. There we go. There we go. That should be good. Cute! And then we'll put some trees here to block off behind the warehouse. What happens to us all? Cute. Alright. So we got food sorted. They need textiles. What do we got? Let's do a barber shop. Then we also need some leisure. We gotta scatter some leisure around the city. Puppet show here. Ooh, there's some room over here for some stuff. Oh look, there's Miss Tink. And Queen Courtney. We have the kiosk theater here. Maybe I'll put it back here near the water. Then we'll draw a little path going up to it. There we go, and then we need maybe some bushes. And we could put like a cute arch. And some trees. And some lighting. All the necessities. Help if I hit the right buttons. Right, and what else does it need? It needs some flowers. That's what it needs. Flower bush. Yeah, that's cute. Love that. So everyone's getting some leisure now. You guys have it over here? You do. Wow, that stretches pretty far. Good for them. Assign workers. Oh, we can assign what kind of cuts they do. Let's see. Let's do a full beard and this chops number. Yeah, I like that. Everyone's all good now? Alright. Alright, you're all good now? Apparently the leisure is not reaching you, even though it's right here. That's crazy. Well, it doesn't go very far. Alright, I'll tell you what. We'll put another thing here. What is this? This is the ball throw. Let's put the theater. We'll put the puppet theater here too. You know what? You can have an organ grinder too. Let's have a little area. There we go. There we go. Alright. So, potatoes, I think is what we agreed on, yes? Edit farm. Potatoes! We're gonna paint some taters. That's a lot of taters. Oh, I don't want them over there, though. It's really hard to paint straight lines in here. Go right up to the edge of the cliff there. Nice. Alright, let me add workers to the granary. There we go. And now we decorate. I'm gonna start with a fence. I'm gonna just include all these trees in this farm. Like they're all a part of it, you know? Let you know when, don't count on me, do it again. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Meant to do that. Just like that. That's cute. And then I'm just gonna paint some dirt in here. Like that. And then back here, they can have a dog. Let's give them a dog. Every good farm needs a dog. There you go. We put the dog house. Look at him. He's so cute. And what else should you have? You should probably have a shed, because you have a pretty big farm. So you're going to need a farm shed to store things in. Put that out here. What else do you need? Probably need this wagon. Need that wagon. And then maybe up here you need some flowers. Everybody likes flowers on their property. And trees. That's cute. I like it. I'm addicted to you. You can have, let's put this light. And where's the bell? There's a bell. Actually, I can't move it now. Can I grab it here? No, I can't. I can! I saw it! Move bell. Put it up here. Yeah. And then, can I put stuff on the shed? Can I have this ladder over here? There you go. Probably use that. Let's put this sign here. Hehe, that's fun. I don't know why I'm still waiting. Alright. So, we are really close to being able to have the pub. We gotta create 2 more farms, though. I'm addicted to you, but I want it and I need it. Which we could do over here. Right by the water. I saw somebody do, they had 2 crops at one farm because of how big the increase was on how much farm space you can have. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna go this way. Like that. So maybe we could do that with this one. That could be fun. That could be fun, because I don't know how much we really need of each one to have more than one, like, pub and stuff. Or we could literally put them across the street from each other. I might just do that. Your own, and here it goes. The problem is, like, nothing is reaching over here. Like, I feel like the... Where was it? There was, like, the greater reach. I feel like that's not really doing much for me right now. Because, like, I feel like this should all reach over here. It's not that far away. But for some reason, it's not reaching. So, let's do tomatoes. Cute. Pretty close. It's really hard to draw straight lines with this tool. Close enough. And then I guess... maybe over here we'll do... like that. And then we'll put in some leisure. Actually, you could put in another one of these because it reaches really far. Let's do that. And let's do... I kind of already have all these things. Maybe I'll do another barber. Warehouse reaching over here, though. Granary. But it's just right here. Dang it. Oh, it's connected to a bunch of them, though. It says. It's alright, we can build another one. I don't mind. We have lots of money. Gotta do what you gotta do, right? I wrote you some soft songs. Warehouse is too far away. I don't know, I can add another worker for that. Oh, it still doesn't reach! Maybe if I replace this with a big one. Let's do that real quick. Oh no, it's not gonna fit. It's not gonna fit there! Wait, it might if I erase. Not that much. Just want to erase this. Okay, and then we'll delete these trees. In this light for a minute. Alright, now will it fit in here? No, it still won't fit. I feel like it should fit here. Oh, there's a lamp there. There's another light there. Yeah, it totally fits in right there. Perfect. There's an ad starting in 3 minutes. Oh, I ran out of citizens. I gotta steal some of you. And I can steal one of you. I can put you over here. There we go. We need to move some more people in. We're running out of labor force. Alright, alright, let me fix what I just destroyed here. Oh, tonight it was the worst thing I could say. Goodbye, so long, not good night. Alright, over here. Let's do some bigger trees. Let's do some big pine trees. Right there. And we'll do some lighting. Because it's awfully dark over here at night, probably. There's not really any lighting over here either. Tonight, I could say. Alright. Fabulous. I'm gonna give you a scarecrow. Scarecrow is good. Alright, let's do fence. Oh. Don't worry, you're not missing anything during ads. I'm just placing fence. This tree's in the way. Can I move it? Yeah. Fence. Is this one? Yeah. I want to do this big arch. Look around, all the lights and sounds. Cute. Then we can put some more decorations. Some pumpkins. Maybe you need a water spigot over here. Yeah, that's cute. Then we need some trees. Let's do some, actually, let's do some lighting first. Lighting. Look around, lights and sounds. Alright. So you also need some food. You want some food things. Let's do a poultry stand here in the corner. And then let's do like a vegetable stand over here in this corner. Next to the barber shop. Oh, I don't have enough workers. That's right. I forgot. I need houses. Let's just go upgrade some houses. That's the best way. Alright, I've got more workers. Oof, I ran out again. I need more people to move in. Put a couple houses right here. Hi, Bo! What's up, cutie patootie? Your water. You got farm decorations. There you go. Alright, I'm gonna add more workers to my warehouse now. You're addicted? Me too! Oh no, it still doesn't reach far enough. Dang it! I had to build another small warehouse. Stinky! I'm gonna tuck it back in here and make it part of the next farm I build. Because I'm gonna build the next farm over here. You get 2 because I don't have any more people. Let's see. These people want to live near the beehive. Alright, well, I'll have to move somebody. You guys both have water businesses. Oh, nobody's living in this one. Perfect. There you go. Wait, I can take workers out of here. Put them over here. There we go. Equilibrium once again. 12. Sure, that sounds good. Barber. How far have you gotten in the campaign, Bo? Did you get all the way through it yet? I can actually unlock this now. I think I want to get this far first, because I want to build this pub in the other town. Not completely gotta do quests? Okay. Yeah, I haven't been doing requests. I've been slacking on the request part. We just had ads, so I'm not gonna play more ads, but I really have to pee. So I'm gonna run and go pee real quick, and I'll be right back. BRB, don't leave. Stay right here. Okay, I'm back. See, I told you it'd be fast. You better not have went anywhere. JK. Alright. So, I guess I'm gonna wait to unlock this. I want to build the last farm, which is lettuce. So let's do that over here. I want to do it over here, across the street. Surrounded by a lot of farm decorations. I can do that. Let's see. We can have a wagon. We can have pumpkins. Some barrels. Does that make sense for some reason? And we'll give you a scarecrow that'll go out here somewhere. You come live here. Alright. Lettuce. You're a lettuce farmer now, sir. Or ma'am. Yeah, nice. I ran out of people again. Every time I touch. There we go. We're all evened out, I think. Yes, we're all good. Alright, and then I'm just gonna pretend like this warehouse is kind of a part of this farm. Because why not? Let's put a shed over here. Got a block in my run. Actually, let's put it over here, maybe? Nah. Let's move this over here. And then I can put the shed here out front. I'm actually gonna face it this way, because why not? My baby daddy, I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's cute. And then you need some lighting. It's cute. It's cute. Maybe some flowers around here. Everybody they know us. Alright, let me put on my fence before I do trees. I can't go up the cliff, apparently. I'm gonna go around it like this. It looks silly. It is what it is, I suppose. She'll be mine. Wait, which one did I use? I used this one. Just gonna put it like in between the cliff and the building. That. Yeah, yeah. You don't want me. I just use it for somebody. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you gigolo. I've been decorating the hell out of my buildings with flowers and hanging plants, right? It's so fun. I love it. I'm gonna put some like really big trees out here. Body, yeah, yeah. Oh, you gigolo. Oh, you gigolo. That's cute. I think I'm gonna put like some bushes or something right here. Like that. Maybe like a small tree right here. That's cute. That's cute. Tall, sexy, handsome. You don't love me. You don't want me. All right. That's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. So I think that's all the farms we need now. I have not decorated these houses yet. So let's do that. Let's see, you get a tree. So you have like more crops. I know! We'll get there, we'll get there. I'm mostly just trying to get the pub functional because I want to put it in the other town. It'll be so cute. Okay, it will all float on. Okay. Oh, anyway now. Some lights. Camera action. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Recently figured out you can use the umbrellas to make awning. Oh, I know, I saw that. I was watching City Planner. His little video series he did with this game. And I saw him do that and I was like, I didn't know I could do that. Alright, you guys need somewhere to sit. Some benches. Like that. And this one, you can have a table. Can I put a flower on these teeny tiny tables too? Or is it only picnic tables? Oh, it's only picnic tables. Sad! Alright. This game is so simple, but has so much at the same time. I'm excited to see what all they do add to it. Oh, I know. It's gonna be really exciting watching what it turns into. I'm already excited for this animals update that's coming. Or is it already out? I can't remember. I think it's not out yet. Let's check, actually. Oh my god, I can get a City Skylines Christmas sweater? Stop. That's so cute. I want that. Oh my god, that is so cool. Get yours now. Let's see how much it is. $83? Oh wait, that's the bundle. Wait, it comes with a hat, a sweater, and socks. What if I want just the sweater? I don't want the whole thing. $83 is way too much money. I don't have $83. Anyway. When does this DLC drop? That's what I came on here for. Animals update. Oh, it just says November. It doesn't say when. Excuse me. Yeah, it just says November. It doesn't say when in November. Maybe it's in the actual trailer, but I'm not gonna watch it right now. I mean, it's a sweater, winter hat, and a pair of socks for $80. So I guess that's not terrible. The sweater itself would probably be like 60, right? Normally. Between $45 and $60. So I guess it's not awful, but also I'm not gonna spend 80 bucks on that. I want just the sweater. I don't need all that stuff. But I would that's so cool. I'd wear a City Skylines Christmas sweater. Fuck it. Why not? I'm down. Alright, so now that we have all of our farms up and running, I want to go to... Let's go back to Bellevue. And let's put the pub up. Because in theory, we can put the farm stuff anywhere now, right? We'll do this one. And this one. Sure, why not? Alright, where are we at here? Okay, this is actually looking pretty good. This is a pretty cute looking town, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Apparently I'm also ready to upgrade. Oh, I have all this stuff I haven't even put in yet, I think. We put the clock gate up. Oh, wait, I do have all this stuff. Do I have a launderer? I don't think I have a launderer anywhere. I don't know, if I go in here and I click on the launderer. There is one somewhere. I wish it would highlight the building so I knew that I had one already. And, oh, it's over here. Okay. Oh, it does highlight it. Okay, cool. So we have one way over here. We don't have one on this side of town. Do I have any places to move people in? Oh, I do. Look at me go. And this is the clockmaker. Do I have any artisan homes anywhere? Yeah, up here. Maybe we should put some over here too at some point. Okay, that's not important. Right now, I want to put this pub right here, I think. Depending on how big it is. Oh, it's too big. It's too big to go right there. We should put it over here by this lake. That might be cute. Will it fit right here? Maybe we put it right here. Why can't it go there? It's because this rock's in the way? There we go. Let's put it right here. I'm actually pretty excited about the pub thing and seeing how it works. Ooh, they taking their sweet time building it. Pub, 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 pub. All right. Cool. All the requirements are met. What is this? Warehouse can't transport to this building. Oh, it's right here. Just need another worker. Excellent. Alright, let's look at this building. What a cute asset. Look at it. Ooh. Wait, that's a cute scene. Oh, I should have turned it around a different way so that people back here could see the water. You know what? It's not too late because I learned that I can move things. Might not fit in there this way though. It fits, but it's ugly. Nope, that's not gonna work. Just gonna have to go back where it was. Really cute though. What a cute asset. Alright, let's put some shit on it. Oh, oh, oh. You might be able to put it behind the house by moving a tree. Oh, over here? Yeah, because this would be a really good spot for it, right? Should I just, like, move some of these trees out of the way and see if it fits? I really want to put it over here. Yeah, smart thinking, Bo. I so wish I could, like... put it this way. Yeah, I can, technically. It's fitting. Let's do it. Let's do it! Move this tree. Put it right here. Alright, and we need a little pathway. Cute! Alright, I move these trees back now. Waterfront pub, sign me up, right? Can sit right here and look at the water and get shit-faced. It's awesome! Did you hear the clock? So cute! It's so cute! I love it! These people are gonna want a tree barrier between them and the noisy pub. It made a clock sound. It was cute. I should put like a tiny tree. Wish I could get closer to the buildings. That's like my one wish for this game, is that I can get closer to the buildings with decorations. Sometimes you can get really close, and then sometimes you can't get close at all. Because it takes up the whole footprint. See, like, I can't put anything here. Because it actually comes out in, like, this. Instead of it being, like, the actual shape of the building, it's actually a full square. Duh. Cute. I wish you could do like some hanging over lights. That'd be so cute. That's pretty good though. Cool. So now we have a fully functioning pub, and it's getting all of the stuff to make it from the next town over. That's pretty sick. Alright. So I think we've done everything in here now. So, I guess we have enough to upgrade. Should we upgrade the town? They're all sleeping right now because we're not researching anything. What do you want? Houseware shops nearby. Apparently I don't have any of those. What? This one's right here. Isn't this housewares? Pretty sure it is. How would if I upgrade this building? If I upgrade that, will you want to live here? Yeah, okay. And then you can go over here in this building. Excellent. Alright, we're gonna upgrade. Ready? Our train station's gonna get bigger! Yay! Oh! Cute! Woo! Yay! So cute! Public service unlocked. Research menu expanded. Oh my gosh, so now we have a newspaper stand, new money vault, bank upgrade, increases the maximum money. Okay, we're doing that right now. Newspaper stand, a school, a chapel, new research equipment, a pottery, merry-go-round, a Ferris. We can have a little carnival. Autumn nature decorations. Extra clotheslines at the launderer, and a third floor housing upgrade. Cool! That's exciting. That's so exciting. We have a request. Should we do a request before we go? You love the autumn trees and hedges? Ooh, I can't wait to see that. I think let's do a one request before we call it a night. Because we have one. Could I bother you with a small task? I made this poster for a theater production that's playing in the capital. It's not technically official. I just love the place so much. I want everyone to see it. Do you think they'll mind? Would you mind plastering a bunch of posters on the sides of buildings? Okay. Cute. Theater. theater poster. Put up posters around town. It's probably in here. Yeah. Okay. One on the side of the barber shop. Put one on the launderer. We just have to do 5. Let's do some on this side of town too. I feel like the pub would be a good place to put one. If there's room on the pub anywhere. There might not be room on the building. Oh, right here. Perfect. And where else can we put one? I don't want to put them on houses. I want to put them on like actual businesses. Put one on this barber shop. And where else can we put one? Put one on the optician's office. There we go.
Oh.
Hey, that looks like a fun evening out. If I can afford the round trip of tickets. Yeah, my sister will love this as a birthday gift. What a wonderful poster. I want to tear it off and take it home.
Well, hey.
Look, people are flocking to the posters already. Now everyone will travel to the capital to see that wonderful play. I wonder if the theater will notice. Will notice me? Thank you for doing this, Mayor. It's everything I dreamed of. I like Pascal. He's cool. He seems chill, you know? Alright, I think I'm gonna call it a night for now. So... Wow, there's still a lot left. I'm surprised. I want to get these upgrades before I get this stuff, I think. So we'll do the research equipment and the 3rd floor next when that unlocks. This is my other game I started. This is my off-stream game, and this is my on-stream game. Alright, chat. I need a bedtime snack, and then I gotta go to bed. It's getting kind of late. Not that I really mind staying up late on a Friday. But I have to get up and go to my mom's tomorrow. She's giving me some of her Christmas decorations, so that's exciting. I'm excited. Alright, let's find someone to raid. No money for you. Ooh, I think I know who I want to raid. Let me just double check who's all live. Off to sleep you go. Yes. I think we're going to go raid. Let's go raid Tuppy. Tuppy is playing Water Park Simulator. So let's go see what they're up to. Oh, wait. Stop. No, we're not raiding Tuppy. I try not to raid people who have follower-only chat on because it feels not very welcoming. So instead, why don't we can go say hi to Radar. Let's go say hi to Radar, Mega Radar. There we go. All right, we're gonna raid Radar. Radar's playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, so we'll go chill over there for nights. For nights. If you're a subby, you're gonna use the first raid call. If you're not a subby, then you'll use the second one with the Nemo Pops. I kind of feel like I should change mine to My Pops. That would make sense, right? Maybe I'll do that before next stream on Sunday. Because that would be cute. If you're not already in the Discord, join the Discord. I try to do events in there once in a while, and that's where I post all my updates to schedules and things. If for some reason I have to delay stream or cancel stream, that's the first place to find out. But thank you all for hanging out. Thanks for all the love and support. We got a ton of raids tonight, which was great. That was exciting. And I'll see you guys on Sunday at like noon or 1 o'clock or something like that. But thank you so much. I love you. Thank you. Goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. Get the fuck out. Night night.